Hello everyone, thank you for listening to this presentation. My name is Arsema and I'm a PhD student at the University of Rioja. And today I'm going to present my work titled Higher Proficiency, Greater Foreign Language Enjoyment, Evidence from Spanish University Students. This is me, and this is a short biography of myself. So, let's start then. So as you probably know, in recent decades, research in second language acquisition has undergone a shift towards a more positive perspective. When it comes to emotions, the field had traditionally focused on negative emotions, like for instance, anxiety, right? However, with the emergence of the field of positive psychology, which Peterson defined as the scientific study of what goes right in life, in the last decade there has been a greater attention to the role of positive emotions in language learning. One of these positive emotions, which has gained greater interest in second language acquisition research, is enjoyment, which can be broadly defined as a positive feeling that individuals might experience when they are actively engaged with and find satisfaction in an activity. This growing interest has led to the creation of the construct of foreign language enjoyment, and also the existence of numerous empirical studies that have analyzed how foreign language enjoyment affects the foreign language learning process of the learners, as well as their overall foreign language performance. Nevertheless, despite this growing interest in this affective variable, research on foreign language enjoyment still remains relatively limited and has mainly focused on general learning outcomes, paying less attention to certain specific linguistic aspects, like for instance semantic fluency, right? And also I consider that more attention should be given to the factors influencing foreign language enjoyment levels, or how these levels subsequently impact the foreign language performance. In an attempt to help contribute to address this gap, the present study that I'm going to present today will examine whether foreign language proficiency has an impact on the foreign language enjoyment levels, and also if foreign language enjoyment correlates to foreign language semantic fluency at all proficiency levels. Let's go now with the first part of the literature review. So, foreign language enjoyment. What is foreign language enjoyment? The concept of foreign language enjoyment was introduced by Dewall and McIntyre as a result of the integration of second language acquisition research with then emergent field of positive psychology that I mentioned before. This concept can be broadly defined as a positive emotion experienced by foreign language learners when their psychological needs are met in the foreign language classroom, which means basically when they feel engaged, when they feel challenged, but always within their capacities. From a theoretical perspective, foreign language enjoyment embodies key aspects from two relevant theories, which are: the first one is the broaden and build theory. According to this theory, foreign language enjoyment is thought to broaden foreign language learners' cognitive and behavioral capacities, encouraging them to explore, to play, and to creatively engage with the linguistic and cultural aspects of the target language, which helps them build long-term psychological and cognitive resources at the end. Second, from the control value theory, foreign language enjoyment would only emerge when learners feel in control of their learning and value the task at hand, both in the process and in the outcome stages. As I mentioned before, there are a lot of empirical studies, right? And empirical research and relevant meta-analysis have shown that foreign language enjoyment does positively affect foreign language learning by enhancing key factors of language learning, like for instance willingness to communicate, and also that it predicts foreign language performance, right? However, this latter relationship is not always clear, especially when it comes to specific linguistic aspects. And although to a lesser extent, there are also some studies that have examined factors that may influence the foreign language enjoyment levels of the foreign language learners, right? Relevant to our study is foreign language proficiency. There are a few previous studies that have seemed to show that at higher proficiency levels are also associated with increased foreign language enjoyment. In fact, as we can see in the study conducted by Dewall and Fans in 2018, In their qualitative analysis, they saw that learners with low foreign language learning proficiency used to describe the foreign language classroom as a negative cycle of frustration and anxiety when they learn a foreign language. Meanwhile, those with intermediate to higher proficiency reported greater enjoyment in further developing their foreign language skills, which created a vicious and positive cycle. Despite these previous studies, there are two gaps that remain here. First of all, the effect of foreign language enjoyment on specific linguistic aspects such, for instance, foreign language semantic fluency. To the best of our knowledge, there are no previous studies. And also a more in-depth examination of the factors influencing the foreign language enjoyment levels of the foreign language learners. So as I said before, most of the studies on foreign language enjoyment have focused on overall foreign language performance but not on specific linguistic aspects, right? In this study, I'm going to focus on the specific linguistic aspect semantic fluency, which is why we're going to define it here in this part of the literature review. So what is semantic fluency? Semantic fluency refers to the cognitive and also to the linguistic ability to generate words within a specific thematic or semantic category. Imagine, for instance, animals, right? This construct has become significantly popular in lexical research, particularly in light of evidence suggesting that the lexical organization of the mental lexicon is largely structured around semantic similarity. Consequently, semantic fluency task, which basically consists in producing as many words as comes to one's mind in response to a specific linguistic semantic category, are considered effective psycholinguistic tools for clarifying the nature of the lexical semantic system, and also to provide a window into the semantic memory organization, lexical access, and retrieval. Research on second language acquisition and semantic fluency has mainly focused on how different variables, like for instance gender, age, or the linguistic profile, influence foreign language semantic fluency. These studies typically analyze the total number of words produced alongside organizational strategies, like for instance clustering or switching. And also, recently, a new line of research has identified a significant positive link between learner creativity and semantic fluency performance in a foreign language. Nevertheless, while Jimenez, Catalan, and Diwal in 2017 did explore the role of emotional balance, finding that positive emotion prompts activate higher word retrieval than negative ones, there is a notable absence of studies that specifically examine the relationship between foreign language enjoyment and semantic fluency, or how foreign language proficiency, which has been largely linked to the mental lexical organization in L1 and L2 speech production, may modulate this relationship. So this is what we're going to do in this study. Given the research gaps that we identified in the literature review, the following research questions are going to be answered. The first one is there a significant difference in foreign language enjoyment among learners of different proficiency levels, right? And the second one is foreign language enjoyment correlated to foreign language semantic fluency at all proficiency levels? This is a methodology. As for the participants, a total of 89 Spanish EFL students from the University of La Rioja participated in this study. However, 8 of the participants were excluded from the analysis due to incomplete responses, resulting in a final sample of 81 participants. As for the instruments that we use, foreign language enjoyment was measured using the 21-item scale developed by Diwal and McIntyre. As for the foreign language proficiency, it was assessed using the Oxford Quick Placement Test, and semantic fluency was evaluated using a time-controlled task comprising different semantic categories. As for the data processing analysis, the responses from the foreign language semantic fluency task were digitized and coded following Jimenez, Catalan, and Diwal. And to answer the present research questions for the analysis, we chose to sum the total number of words produced by each participant across the different semantic categories that we analyzed. And following Dewall and McIntyre in 2014, what we did is we computed the overall foreign language enjoyment score as a mean of the 21 items. And for the statistical analysis, we use JASP. Let's go now with the results. So the results for the first research question, which was, is there a significant difference in foreign language enjoyment among learners of different proficiency levels? In order to answer these research questions, we conducted a one-way ANOVA, and this analysis revealed a significant effect of proficiency level on foreign language enjoyment. The post-hoc comparisons showed that advanced participants scored significantly higher than both intermediate and beginner participants, and intermediate participants score higher than beginners. All p-values in this case were significant, and therefore the foreign language scores increase linearly across proficiency levels. As for the second research question, which was, is foreign language enjoyment correlated to foreign language semantic fluency at all proficiency levels? In this case, we conducted a Pearson correlation analysis, and it showed that no significant association was found at the beginner or advanced levels, and nevertheless, at the intermediate level, a significant positive correlation emerged. This seems to suggest that higher foreign language enjoyment is associated with greater semantic fluency only at intermediate levels, but not at beginner or advanced levels. Let's go now with the discussion. So concerning the first research question, the one-way ANOVA revealed a significant effect of proficiency level on foreign language enjoyment. These results go in line with previous studies that already demonstrate that having higher proficiency levels in the foreign language is also associated with higher levels of foreign language enjoyment. It is likely that if we follow the qualitative results of Dewall and Alfaufan in 2018, it is likely that beginner level foreign language learners do not fully enjoy the foreign language learning process because they still have limited linguistic knowledge. This could lead to higher levels of frustration and stress. However, as the skills of the foreign language learners improve, foreign language learners may begin to enjoy the foreign language learning process, feeling more engaged in the foreign language classroom, and being able to interact more due to their higher communicative competence. And this can also be explained if we follow the metaphor of the music metaphor that was used by Bodes et al. In 2020. And according to this metaphor, learning to play an instrument is often initially frustrating since it is harder to produce beautiful music. And it is not until certain skills are acquired that the musician does not start to gain confidence and enjoy the experience. While in language learning, a language learner may also feel true enjoyment after a certain proficiency is achieved in the foreign language. Nevertheless, we have to take these results, this discussion with caution, because we do not have qualitative data to really know how these foreign language learners felt. Regarding the second research question, results showed that the significant correlation between foreign language enjoyment and foreign language semantic fluency only existed at the intermediate levels. These findings suggest that the role of foreign language enjoyment on foreign language semantic fluency is not consistent but rather dependent on foreign language proficiency. These results align with the outcomes found in Lee et al. 2020 regarding where foreign language enjoyment was correlated to foreign language performance only at intermediate levels. They are also consistent with what we already know about the organization of the mental lexicon. So as we know, in the early stages of language learning, of language acquisition, lexical retrieval is a mechanical process of lexical mediation, which will leave little room for emotions to influence the efficiency of the search. Also, they have little knowledge, so it doesn't really matter if they enjoy or not the foreign language classroom, because if they don't have the vocabulary, they cannot produce those words, right? On the other hand, at higher levels of proficiency, the mental lexicon becomes more structured and lexical access is increasingly automatized, reducing again the potential impact of affective variables such as foreign language enjoyment. By contrast, at the intermediate level, lexicon is sufficiently developed but not yet fully automatized, which would allow learners to be positively affected by foreign language enjoyment. Okay, now for the conclusions. Although this study is not without limitations, for instance, the sample is relatively small, and we didn't consider the productive vocabulary of the participants. We should have controlled that. Despite of that, this preliminary study further supports previous studies that found that foreign language enjoyment is affected by different factors, including the foreign language proficiency profiles of the foreign language learners, and also it highlights the role of foreign language enjoyment not only on overall foreign language performance, but also in specific cognitive and linguistic processes, such as, for instance, foreign language semantic fluency. However, as we can see, these effects are not consistent, and again they are affected by the proficiency levels of the participants, foreign language proficiency levels of the participants, suggesting that foreign language enjoyment operates in interaction with multiple factors rather than as an isolated predictor. Further research, is necessary, particularly of a qualitative and mixed method nature. This might be helpful to corroborate these preliminary findings and also to more precisely delineate the pedagogical implications of this study. These are the references, and thank you very much. Thank you.